Hello and a very warm welcome to our continuing coverage of the AFC Champions League. And it's the second quarter-final here this evening between Ahli Saudi and Johor Darul Tazim. It's arguably the most fascinating of the four semis. Vissel Kobe, as you see, came through last night in a very tense penalty shootout against Al Sadd, and they await the winners of this match. Now that'll be played next Monday. It's very warm here, as you can see, 31 degrees centigrade. That's nudging 90 on the Fahrenheit scale. There aren't too many neutral observers who would probably tip Johor Darul Tazim to win this match, but then again, there probably weren't too many who would have bet on them to get this far. But they have, the furthest they've ever been flying the flag for Malaysian football in this quarter-final, in which Ahli Saudi have a huge advantage, not just because they've got a multi-million-dollar starting lineup, but also because this match is being played in their home stadium at the King Abdullah Sports City ground here in Jeddah. I think they've spotted us. Great to see some youngsters here tonight. The fans of the home side will be very confident of progressing, even though they left it late in their round of 16 match. You may have watched that with us on Monday. They won 1-0 with a goal 3 minutes from the end of extra time. It was a brilliant Riyad Mahrez free kick. It took something of that quality to break the deadlock. It looked destined to go to penalty kicks. And who knows, we might be in for similar drama here this evening. A ground that can house more than 62,000 fans, and it's been filling up steadily through the late afternoon and early evening. Coming up to 5:45 in this part of the world. Of course, Ahli Saudi are the defending champions, having beaten Kawasaki in this stadium last May. It's actually their first ever meeting against a Malaysian team, and if you're wondering whether Johor Darul Tazim have ever met a team from Saudi Arabia, well, the answer is yes, although not competitively. They won a friendly actually a year ago, 1-0 against Al Riyadh. So a little bit of history being made tonight. First competitive meeting between teams from Saudi Arabia and Malaysia. This stadium known as the Shining Jewel was certainly glistening 11 months ago when Ahli Saudi won the Asian Champions League for the first time in their history. They've got to the final on a couple of occasions as well, but as I was mentioning, Johor have never been this far. It's an incredible story, actually, Johor Darul Tazim. Their first major honour was as recently as 2014, when they became the national champions, and they've never been dethroned since. So that was the first of 12 successive league titles, up to and including this season, because currently they have an unassailable lead at the top of the Malaysian Super League. They're 18 points clear, would you believe? Only 3 games left, so that's a done deal. In this competition, they actually only guaranteed qualification to the round of 16 on the final day of the league stage, with a latish winner against Vissel Kobe. That was only their 3rd win in the East Region League stage, lost 3 and drew 2, and they were the lowest scorers of all the teams that came through from that East Region group. And they beat Sanfrecce Hiroshima 3-1 in the first leg of the round of 16. They lost the second leg 1-0, but no problem, 3-2 overall. That second leg, by the way, was 5 weeks ago. Obviously, this match was intended to be, although the round of 16 that they just came through, Ahli Saudi, was intended to be a 2-legged affair, but obviously events in the Middle East meant that couldn't happen. But there was a real sense of anticipation inside the stadium, and as you can imagine, those watching back home, thousands of kilometres away in Malaysia. Not had the greatest of seasons domestically at Ahli Saudi. They are third, but they're all behind Al Nassr. Just a few matches to go with the domestic campaign there. And some really interesting pre-match comments. I loved some of the statements from the skipper of Johor, that's Nacho Insa, who said that someone suggested to him that they were massive underdogs, and he said, well, we haven't come to Jeddah because we want to have a holiday. They seriously have fancied their chances, and that victory that they had in the round of 16 was huge. They were big underdogs there, they're big underdogs again now. And there have been plenty of shots in this competition since we started last autumn. Interesting, the coach of Johor, Francisco Munoz, saying that he's had to kind of convince his squad mentally that they can come through this match. Not a question of whether they have the talent or not, but he's just trying to get them to believe that they can win it, that they can dethrone the defending champions on their own ground. That is the extent of the challenge here. Two European coaches, incidentally. Matthias Jaisler, German, in charge of Al Ahli Saudi, and his opposite number is Francisco Munoz, the Spaniard. Only 38 and 45 years old, respectively, those two. So we got two young coaches trying to guide their team to glory here this evening. Only 7 years since Johor made their debut in Asian football's Premier Club competition. This is the biggest test they have faced in that time. They did win the AFC Cup back in 2015, the first Malaysian team to win a continental title. But this is a big step up. Well, two changes for the Al Ahli side that came through the round of 16 on Monday. Ali Mishrashi is restored at right back. There's a start for the exciting Brazilian 20-year-old Mateus Gonçalves in midfield. Riyad Mahrez likely to be the main provider out wide, specifically for Ivan Toney, who's scoring for fun domestically, but only has one in this competition. It's the coach's preferred 4-2-3-1 formation. Any one of 5 of those subs can be used, and an extra one if we have a concussion injury, or indeed if this goes to extra time. Francisco Munoz just got a shot at him, the Johor coach. Man in charge tonight is Adham Makadma from Jordan. Might be something of a good omen, actually, for the home side. He was in charge of their semi-final last year, which of course they won. Also refereed the final of this competition back in 2017. I think he's just got to follow the line, that young man. Two skippers about to meet in the middle. That's Nacho Insa on the right-hand side. Been here a long time. Shaking hands with Edouard Mendy, goalkeeping skipper of Al Ahli Saudi. Do have VAR, of course, in operation, and the Australian Sean Evans is in charge of monitoring that tonight. Well, just the one alteration made by Chisco Munoz from the JDT team that came past Hiroshima more than a month ago. He was never going to tinker with a back four that's been watertight. Basically got them through the league stage. The changes in midfield, there he is, Nacho Insa. He returns, and even at 39, he's one of the side's most important performers. Up top, Gyro is the leading scorer even. His fellow countryman Bergson is still unavailable. Well, it took them 117 minutes to get past Al Duhail on Monday evening. I would imagine those players and their coach want to make this a rather simpler affair, especially because obviously they've got, if they do get through, semi-final coming up on Monday, you don't want to be going into that off the back of two-hour endeavours. Excellent crowd here tonight. We were reckoning it was going to be somewhere in the region of 50,000. Certainly making a lot of noise. Antonio Glauder, one of the Spaniards in this Johor side. Very versatile. He can play as a left back, a centre back, and in midfield as well if required. It's Matthias Geisler. 2 Austrian titles at his time at Red Bull Salzburg, and here nearly 3 years trying to defend the title. As for Chisco Munoz, it's his 8th managerial job. He's been in charge in England a couple of times at Sheffield Wednesday and Watford. Arrived here in June. Be a national hero if he can win the next 3 games and take this handsome trophy back to Malaysia. Away we go then for this second quarter-final. And Ahli Saudi all in white, attacking the goal to our right in this first period. And their coach Matthias Geisler was saying in the build-up, actually, he wanted to see his team start on the front foot, really pressure the inexperienced Johor players early, and they're trying to do just that inside the first 30 seconds. Whistle's gone, however. Wouldn't want to argue with him, would you? Raucous inside this ground, as I'm sure you can hear wherever in the world you're watching our coverage. Early touch here for Antonio Glauder. Probably play a little longer Johor than their opponents. Maybe don't quite have the pass and move craft in midfield, but nonetheless they've featured in some very entertaining matches in this tournament so far. Gonçalves chasing, and that's a lovely ball from Insa. And not a bad cross either, it needed it at the intervention of the defender. Excellent from Jonathan Silva, delivering from this left-hand side. And they were stretched there, Ahli Saudi. I think we need a football here. His manager has found one. All started by that lovely pass from Nacho Insa that got Silva away. Mahrez. Tony. Mentioned Ivan Toney's prolific in the Saudi League here. He's got 27 for the season, but only one, surprisingly, in the Champions League, and should have been two. Missed a penalty in the round of 16 game earlier this week. Pressing quite high, Johor. There's Hamed. And Salves, who has license to drift in field if he gets the urge. Wants the ball at every opportunity. That's a nice little cushion pass. Majrashi had continued his forward run from fullback. Given away rather cheaply, and then they've got the free kick, Johor. Much to from Casey's displeasure. He wasn't impressed. Whacked forward by Al-Majrashi. That will go against Tony. He's got to be a bit careful kicking the ball away like that when the whistle's gone. I've seen referees penalise that kind of thing with a yellow card. Isn't a great deal in that. Arm did come out a little bit. Free kick awarded to the Malaysian side. It's going to run all the way through to Mendy. Majrashi. Hamed again. Managed to work round the press that time, the home team. I say home team, obviously technically it's a neutral venue, but it is their home stadium. Free kick for that. Out of the man penalised. Just about kept in play, and they've got numbers forward here for the cross. Completely missed by Glauder. Rather saved by the whistle there. Johor. The cheerleaders controlling the singing as Subiore clears. Salves. Space for Al-Sawi on that far side. Towards Tommy, couldn't quite angle it and keep it down. The defender got the last touch. It will be a corner. First of the game. Just know Tony is going to be in and around that 6-yard box, and that's exactly where he was. More luck than judgment, I think, from Eddie Israfilov, but went behind. That was the main thing from Johor's point of view. We have Mahrez to take. Glauder are the two being spoken to by referee McCadmer. Now the official happy for Mahrez to take this flag kick. So much holding in there. So hard for the referee to see. Who's tugging who? Oh, it came a long way through, and on the turn, a long way wide from Ivan Toney. Just for a moment, it's all out panic. Completely missed the ball, this Rafilov. Diving header into thin air. The shot was never really anywhere close to the target, but so much holding and pushing and pulling. Almost impossible for the referee to gauge exactly who's doing what to whom. Well, it's Ryan Hammett, the man who's down, the big centre-back. It's a touch of the Kalinas, isn't there, about Adrian McCadmer, the referee? Staring eyes and bald head. Well, he's limping back into position, Hammett, so hopefully he'll be okay. Toney coming deep to keep possession for his side. It's too much on that, I think. Although Mahrez has got it. Defender nipped in ahead of him though. Careful of the bounce. The pitch is pretty dry with the watering. Can sometimes give the defenders a problem. Not on that occasion. Serwi in for Gonçalves. Pesci getting a touch. Gonçalves again. Toney actually made a good run there, but the ball didn't come early enough, and by the time he did, a couple of defenders had covered him up. So Johor Darul Tazim have survived the first 10 minutes with the odd scare. Called by Keishi. Nice ball that. Galeno's going to predominantly operate down that left-hand side. That's nice in for Milo. Galeno again, the Brazilian. Too much on that. Shot. He was looking for the likes of Ivan Toney in the middle, but some way off connecting. Ashrashi actually was also up in the penalty area, the left back. Pesci. Now Ibanez. They get some kind of a rhythm going passing-wise here. Ahli Saudi. It's been a little disjointed so far, even though, as you would expect, they've had the lion's share of the football. Is the latest possession figure for the team in white. Now they might get round the back here. Leno had too much on that ball and easily cleared. Going to come straight back though. That's going to be the problem for JDT. This is more promising. It's in towards Toney, didn't reach him. But he got round the back there, Madrashi, very easily. Casey now. Far too close to Zibiori. Experienced keeper, Spanish. Spent his whole career in the Spanish lower leagues until he arrived in Malaysia 18 months ago. He's actually not figured in a single league game this season. He's only played in the Champions League, Zibiori. Here's Ahmed, who seems to have recovered from that knock he took a little earlier. Salvez. Nearly worked that little flick from Madrashi, but boot was a fraction high. Free kick. Insa. Arribas. He's coaxed it down the line. Defender wanted the keeper to come there. Mendy didn't move. In the end, it's a goal kick, but just a hint of miscommunication. Here's Gonçalves. Didn't see the opponent coming. Can't be done by Atrafilov. That will be a free kick. But again, it wasn't the most convincing defending. Jaro doesn't like the decision. The referee rather got Ahli Saudi out of jail there. Went down very easily, Ibanez. Yes, a little nudge, but I don't think it necessitated that reaction. Yeah, I can see his point. $13 goals this season, Jaro, but he hasn't scored any of them in this competition. From Paphos in the Cypriot League back in June. So Mendy will launch this forward. Quarter of an hour played here, 0-0. The second AFC Champions League quarter-final. Madrashi. Riyad Mahrez, bottom of your screen on the right, hasn't seen much of the ball so far. I want to get him into the action a little bit more. Even at 35, he's still quick. And he has a devilish delivery too. And can take a free kick, as we saw on Monday night. Hamed, this is Mahrez. Mahrez drifted away from a couple of defenders, then used the ball intelligently as he usually does. KC towards Gonçalves, but it was always going to be Zubiore's ball. Silva. Oh, that's excellent pressure from Jonathan Silva. Hit the defender's pocket. Nene. Guilherme was desperate for the Brazilian, but his teammate went the other way. He's hardly had a touch, actually, the number 95, Marcus Guilherme. Scored in the round of 16 first leg. Only arrived here in January, formerly of Internacional and Santos, and they don't give away first team appearances, either of those clubs in Brazil. No free kick, referee happy to let it go. Tap in, 1-0 Johor. Who would have believed it? He's hardly had a touch, Guilherme, but he's given JDT the lead, and there's a potential massive shock here, albeit early in the first half. I think that was excellent refereeing. Some officials might have blown it, didn't look like a foul. The small contingent of travelling fans in dreamland here. One of the easiest goals that Marcus Guilherme is ever going to score. As soon as they got round the back, Ahli Saudi were in big trouble. Well, it was a little shove, okay, but he's gone down easily. That was a repeat of what we saw a couple of minutes ago. This time, no whistle. Gyro feeds his fellow Brazilian Guilherme, and it's 1-0 for Johor Darul team. Who would have thought it? His 7th of the season, his 4th in the AFC Champions League, and by far the most important. What a story developing here. Meanwhile, there's concern. I'm presuming that's Ibanez who's down. And immediate problems for T.S. Eisler. He's a former Brazilian youth international, Guilherme, not that he would have needed to be to tuck that home from a couple of metres out. Not sure that those fans can quite believe what they're watching here. There's a shove in the back. Not had any information that VAR's looking at that. Just wondering if he actually even got the final touch. It might have come off the defender, but either way, yeah, it is Ibanez who's down. Either way, JDT are in front, and they may have to make an early substitution. Well, there are complaints going on. I think what they're saying is that there was a shove on Ibanez, but is that enough? Is it enough? We've not been told that there's any VAR, as they say. So Ibanez is back on his feet. I'm not sure he looks too happy, though. Well, in fact, the goal has officially been credited as an own goal by Ali Madrashri, which will be annoying for Guilherme, but I don't imagine he'll be that concerned about it because his team are leading 1-0. Now, Madrashri just threw himself at the ball because he knew that it was going to be a tap-in for Guilherme, and he got the last touch. So now we'll see what Ahli Saudi are made of. Majrashi scored that own goal. Now Insa. The dummy was from Gyro. Don't think that Silva read it. Just about kept it in, yeah, but couldn't keep possession. So, in fact, it did just go out. So midway through the first half, although having said that, we've had 2 or 3 lengthy stoppages already, so we're going to be into overtime here in the first half. However, it's a dream beginning for the Malaysian side. Very few people would give them any chance here. Mahrez, lack of concentration, that's so unlike him, but it is rather typical of what's happened in the first 20-25 minutes here. They've been off it. Ahli Saudi. Maybe a bit of complacency. Even though they had the lion's share of possession, you haven't created too much. And even that was a bit of a casual clearance that hit Nacho Mendes and could have gone anywhere. Mentioned earlier that didn't exactly play anywhere near their best on Monday. It was only that magical free kick from Mahrez that got them into the quarter-final without the need for a penalty shootout. And they're going to need to go up a gear here, maybe a couple of gears, on by the Ivorian from Casey. Eleno. Keeper just got a glove on it and then put behind for a corner. Suddenly there's a little bit more urgency about the team from Saudi Arabia. It's a poor pass though. Any chance. That's too big. Goal kick. There's only stern words here with Elias Rafidov. See, we can see why. Certainly wasn't anything to do with that incident. Intended for Gonçalves. Has he won a corner? He has. Thought he had. That was the incident leading up to the goal. Gyro on Ibanez. Yeah, you can see he just slid in, didn't he? Majrashi ahead of what would have been a Guilherme tapping. He won't care who got the final touch. This is way more, I think, than Trisco Munoz would have expected at this stage. I think he would have been delighted to go in at half-time 0-0. Now they have the lead. Something to defend against an Ahli Saudi side who are some way below the standard that would be expected by coach and supporters. Whacked away by Al-Nasawi. Crowd already getting on the referee's back to penalise some of this time wasting as the home fans see it. Stayed in play on that far side. No corner though, it's only a goal kick. That's nicely done. Here's Riyad Mahrez. Didn't really connect. Not enough power from the number 7. First time really that Johor Darul had looked vulnerable, and really I think Mahrez will feel he should have done much better than that. Yes, he hit the target, but there was no more than a routine save he brought out of Zubiore. It's going to be the first caution, is it? Only the man in trouble. There is the yellow card. To take. It's quite clever. Madrashi made room for the cross and then didn't beat the first defender. Gonçalves. Madrashi again. Well, he had 2 for company. All a little bit scrappy. Referee saw nothing wrong. Insa caught in possession. And eventually the whistle's gone. It's going to be a free kick though to Ahli Saudi. They almost got themselves in trouble there of their own making. JDT, and if they can't defend this free kick, still may cost them. Yeah, came in from behind, never going to get the ball. See all the shirt pulling and tugging in there. Ibanez got thrown to the deck. Mahrez then with this free kick. Well, referee not happy. We've got, I think it's Ibanez again. Yeah. Well, he's not happy at all, Matthias Geisler. And that previous replay that we showed, let's see what happens here with Ibanez. Well, now he's saying he got a whack in the face from Antonio Glauder. They were the 2 that the referee spoke to a little earlier in this first half. Not sure that the challenge by Glauder really necessitated that reaction. In fact, the previous one, where we only saw the replay, actually looked worse. The referee's got to have eyes everywhere. Mahrez patiently waiting to take it again. Well, you know where the referee's going to be looking now. Glauder would be advised not to get too attached to the man he's marking. So, take 2. Mahrez. It's really worth waiting for. Easy clearance for Zubiore with the punch. Looking to get that first flick, and they did. Fell kindly though for what? Gonçalves wanted a free kick, he's not going to get it. And there might be a break here. It's 4-on-3 at the moment, if they can play this right. Really should have let go of that, Arribas, rather than try the shot. He had teammates both sides, and it's all a little bit frantic at the moment. Temper's just starting to flare a little bit. wasn't the greatest of challenges from Gyro. He's come off worse. Battle with Majrashi. Almost everywhere you look, there are players falling down in apparent agony. Free kick for Ahli Saudi, but that's Gonçalves who's still on the deck. Just past the half-hour mark. I can't imagine how much stoppage time we're going to have at the end of this half. It feels like there's been more stoppages than actual play. This was the chance that Riyad Mahrez had. He just didn't get any venom into the shot, did he? Had to really hit that far corner. It was too close to the keeper. And with nowhere near enough power. A little bit fortunate, actually, that it didn't come back straight to Tony Subiore. Tony was the target again, reaching. Well, keeper was calling for that. Defender rather ignored his stopper. Playing on here, Ahli Saudi with Johor with a man on the deck. Mahrez! Well, he got more power that time, but not the direction. Skipping his country at the World Cup in a couple of months, Riyad Mahrez, captain of Algeria. 40 million US he cost when he came here in July of 2023. This little montage showing you how physical this match has been in the first half an hour or so. Want to take that on his right foot, did he, the goalkeeper? Oh, now that was nasty. No intent, but it was certainly dangerous play, and now there's a bit more play acting going on. It looked as though the initial challenge, he got a boot in the face. And there's genuine concern, you can see it from the players. When you see that, you know there's a serious problem. And I think just because the friction had been building in the 5 or 6 minutes before that incident, but it looked a really nasty one, just from the player's point of view. Well, we've certainly got enough stretchers out there now. When you see players with hands on heads like Oscar Arribas has at the moment, you know the Potentially this is serious. Meanwhile, Ivan Toney is speaking to the official. That was the challenge. Madrashi full in the face of Gyro. Said at the time, I don't think there was any intent, but you can't have your boot at that height. And yeah, I think he's feeling very guilty about it. He's been at the centre of everything, hasn't he, Madrashi? Scored the own goal, now this. He's been involved in a couple of incidents with Ibanez. One of the two changes, actually, that Matthias Geisler made to the side today. Right back. He's very experienced. He's got 20 caps for Saudi Arabia. Ahli Madrashi. Formerly played at Al Shabab. Well, obviously, if his player can't continue, Gyro, then he's going to need a plan B, Xisco Munoz. And I don't think there's any way we're going to see Gyro again here. We just have to really hope that he's okay. Made the goal, of course, with an excellent run and cross. It was eventually turned into his own net. But that doesn't look great, does it? Now, what's the referee going to do here? There's got to surely be at least a booking for Madrashi. Second time that Ivan Toney's had a word with the official. Well, this is a huge decision, what he does here. It's just, the substitute should not be on the field anymore. That is faintly ridiculous. So he's calling Insa, who's the skipper. I would imagine he's just spoken to Edouard Mendy, the Al Ahli Saudi captain, and it looks like it's going to be a yellow for Insa and Silva. Only imagine that was for dissent, because they weren't involved in the incident. Hasn't asked Madrashi to come to him yet either. But this story may not be over yet. So here's the change. Obviously Gyro off. And was that Madrashi disappearing down the tunnel? What it looked like. Yes, it was. We didn't see it, but it was a red card for Ahli Madrashi. So not only are they a goal down, Al Ahli Saudi, they've now down to 10 men. What drama we've had here in the first half. Aga Akeche has come on, number 47. Experienced midfielder. It's going to be maybe not quite as dynamic as the man he's replacing in Gyro, but nonetheless At least they've got some players with a lot of games in their legs, and it's been around quite a few years. There's a Keche. Yeah, the red card was actually early. We missed it in all the early confusion, but they are down to 10. And this potential shock, well, the odds have just improved immeasurably. Coaxed forward by Insa. Can confirm that as it looked, Insa and Jonathan Silva were both booked, which must have been for something that they said. This is Insa. Silva. Well, what a chance now for Johor. A goal up, playing against 10 men. It is going to be a huge ask for the defending champions. Well, at least from their point of view, Matthias Jansen will have a bit of time shortly to regroup when he gets them in the dressing room for half-time. We're in the last minute of normal time, but I think there could be up to about, I don't know, 10, 12 minutes to add on here. Who knows? Knocked away by Real Para. They came here with hope rather than expectation. In fact, it's 8 minutes to add, 8 minutes. Well, that was a bit late from Ivan Toney, you know. Be a bit careful. Long towards Toney, didn't reach him. Quickly on the case was Nene. Galeno. It's nice. Can he find a cross? Maybe a shot. Lost the shot, but they were queuing up to block it. Not cleared though. Swing and a near miss by Hamed. Well, they were appealing for a penalty. It was nowhere near his arm. Al-Hassawi caught in possession. It's a foul Nene. This is good stuff from Darul. I think from JDT's point of view, just be allowing their opponents to come onto them. Got the man advantage. They could get a second. Hard to see Saudi Arabians coming back. And you can see he was lining up the shot there, Gonçalves. Salves again. Goalkeeper had to be alert at his near post. Just to palm that away for a corner. Galeno to take. the in-swinger. Goalkeeper chose to stay at home. Well, two of them could have scored. That's a really soft equaliser from Johor's point of view, but Frank Casey won't care. There were two of them there. The goalkeeper rooted to his line. And in the 3rd minute of time added on, the Ivorian has brought Ahli Saudi level. Excellent corner from Galeno, but surely that was in the area where the keeper has to come. Just inside the 6-yard box. Because the keeper's going to be absolutely powerless from that range. You can see Ibanez was jumping right behind Casey. And if Casey had missed it, Ibanez would have scored. So they're back on terms. And I think Johor Darul says he will be absolutely ruining that. It's Frank Casey's first goal in the Champions League this season. 4 now overall. Well, who knows what direction this match will turn in next. Looked as though Johor were in control against the 10 men, and then all of a sudden, corner, free header, 1-1. Galeno rather boxed in. Seems to have a raging sense of injustice, Ahli Saudi, but if they were to see the replay of the incident where Manchester actually got sent off, I don't think they would have. No foul given for that either, which is interesting as Arribas went down. This is Mahrez looking for Tony. Mahrez wants it back. He'll get it back. Not much angle for him. He's on the wrong side, and he won't get a penalty for that. He's booked Ivan Tony, and to be honest, I think it was only a matter of time. Just lost control of it there, didn't he, Mahrez? And clearly that wasn't anywhere near enough for a penalty. A little bit of tussling, but I don't think you're going to get that. Still 3 minutes plus of injury time to go. Inter. Is there room for the shot? No. Did well to keep him out. In fact, they've got the free kick. Now it's Milo's gone down. That was a good introduction from Akeche. Nice little bit of skill. Twist and turn. There was some contact, but again, I think the reaction from Enzo Milo's way over the top. Certainly wasn't an intentional arm from Akeche. long goal kick that from Mendy. Insa. And again. Gonçalves. Galeno. Had to check back inside. Not the best of balls, but it will be retrieved. Hamed. No one in that central position in the penalty area. We've played the 8 minutes, but because of that injury a moment ago, we're going to play probably a couple more. Ibanez. Oh, he's got to be very careful. Well, the referee says that will do, gentlemen, for, well, to call it a dramatic first half would be something of an understatement. A shock lead for Johor early on. It was credited as an own goal by Ali Majrashi, who had Guilherme coming in behind him, would have had a tap in, and then Majrashi sent off in first half stoppage time for a really high boot, which necessitated the removal from the field of Gyro. Keche came on in his place, and then Casey, with a free header from a corner in first half stoppage time, made it 1-1. Who knows what direction this match is going to go in next, but it's been frenetic, and it's been well, entertaining and unpredictable. And at half-time, it's Ahli Saudi 1, Johor Darul Tazim 1. after Ali Madrashi's sending off. Johor lost gyro in the challenge that saw Ali Madrashi sent off. They brought on Aga Akeche. Just waiting to see if there are any more changes from either coach, because of course they'll be wary that extra time's a genuine possibility here. Just waiting for the clock to tick round, so no further changes. And we are off and running. With Johor in the dark strip, they're attacking the goal away to our right, having taken the lead 19 minutes in. Then they saw Madrashi sent off, and then, in first half stoppage time, front Casey levelled on the Saudi Arabian side. It really would have been interesting to be a fly on the wall in Matthias Geisler's dressing room, just to see what the tactics are going to be in this second half. And in some ways, a bonus for him that his side are on terms after that late leveller. Here's Roger Ibanez. Made off by Mahrez. Al-Hassawi. And by the same token, you wonder what Chisco Munoz has told his players. With the man advantage for the next 45 and potentially 70 minutes, 75 minutes. We will see what transpires here. I haven't had a great deal of possession, actually, Johor, just around 30%. Ball was just played in behind Joe Mendes. That's not a very good clearance either. Straight to Arribas. Keche. Just showed a little bit too much of it to the defender. This is a storming run from Al-Hassawi. Wants a free kick, he's not going to get it. So many stoppages in the first half as well. It looks like the second half's begun in the same fashion. That's crazy, he said. Well, I honestly don't think there's too much in that, to be honest. Great run, gets the return from Galeno. It's like one of the coaching staff was cautioned there. We had that bizarre scenario, the sending off, where we had substitutes and other technical officials on the field for felt like about 5 or 6 minutes. Galeno. Was a difficult one for Tony to control. Managed to keep it in. Certainly the way the second half started, even though Al-Ahli Saudi haven't created much, doesn't look like 10 playing against 11. Too much on that though. He might be full of running, Zakaria Al-Hassawi, but he's not going to catch that. stats show that Ahli Saudi have had 6 shots to none, because the own goal doesn't count as a shot, even though had he not made any contact, they would have scored anyway. Gonçalves just lost control at the vital moment. He was certainly busy early in the first half. Gonçalves, only 20s, tipped by a lot of experts to be a real superstar here. Signed for Flamengo when he was just 12, made 20 appearances for the first team in the league in Brazil. Keche, he's looked quite lively actually since he's come on. Keche. Well done actually by Ibanez, just get an angle on that. The ball was bouncing awkwardly to get enough pace to reach the keeper, so he made sure the striker wasn't able to intercept it. Well, the Johor press is a thing of the past, isn't it? First 10-15 minutes, but now they're allowed to bring it to halfway. Here's Tony with a shot. Didn't really connect at all convincingly with that. Well, you can see how frustrated the Ahli Saudi players are getting with what they perceive as time wasting from Johor. Away by Ibanez. Nearly caught in possession. In the end, he did pretty well to keep it. And now they might be able to get round the back here, Johor. Oh, that was calm under pressure, wasn't it, from Al-Hassawi? Could easily have just stumped that up pitch, but had the peace of mind, presence of mind, just to nod it back to his goalkeeper, make sure they keep the ball. Well, they've got their bounce back, clearly. That equaliser in stoppage time, just when it looked as though Johor would go in with a 1-0 lead. Ibanez. Poor pass that from Ibanez. Way short, was trying to find Tony with it. Mahrez. Just about keeps hold of possession there. Gonçalves for his team. That's another man down here. This time it's a Johor player. Here's Galeno. Gonçalves. Now Al-Hassawi. Galeno. Decent effort! And what a goal that is! Absolutely hammered! Galeno has put the 10 men of Ahli Saudi in front, and that was unstoppable. Thought for a moment that his controller just let him down. He wasn't going to be able to get the shot in before being closed down, but that was a bullet. And from a goal down, the defending champions are now in front. What a hit. Well, they'll look at that, maybe. No, that was fine. They both won the ball at the same time, and then there's a follow-through, but that was fantastic. Just thought that was a bit heavy, that touch, just before the defender got to him. He wrapped his right foot around it and leathered it into the top corner. It's only his second goal in this competition, only his third of the season overall. He wants to be as close to the fans as possible. Stunning strike. Well, yellow card's out again. It's twice. He's had to caution members of the coaching staff. That's the Johor Darul bench. They're unhappy because they thought there was a foul in the build-up to the goal before Galeno's shot. When we saw the replay, it looks like it was a 50-50 challenge. Anyhow, the goal stands, and the defending champions in front with 35 minutes to go, there or thereabouts. Now it will be really interesting to see whether, with the lead, but with a man down, they just play a lot deeper and try and contain Ahli. We'll see. The referee's given a free kick here in favour of Akeche, which has completely bemused Rayan Hamed. Well, here's an early opportunity to get back on terms. You know, looks like he's just organising where the wall needs to be. It's a fair way out to try and beat Mendy with the shot, though, I think. It's got to be, what, 35 metres? Wasn't really worth the wait. All the way back. We'll settle for that, Ahli Saudi. Here's Insa. Parrott. Mendes. Hasn't really had many periods of what you'd call sustained possession, the Malaysian side. That's going to be a free kick for a foul on Ivan Toney. Insa has already been booked. I think that's a yellow card offence, however, even though Tony's still down. Well, now he's booked one of the Ahli Saudi staff. He's booked more of the coaching staff than actual players on the pitch tonight. That was the aftermath. The challenge was what we showed you just before that. nowhere near it, was he? Diore, not a chance. It's a loose touch, and it was well won by Ibanez in the end. Get his team out of trouble. On by Gonçalves. This is Tony. It wasn't easy. Handle was slightly against him on his weaker foot, but got to it first, but way off target. Looks like a change coming for Ahli Saudi. We'll wait for that. Meanwhile, is there a way back for the Malaysians? Who played for an hour here. 2-1, the defending champions lead. Semi-final looming on Monday against Vissel Kobe. Parra. Rivas. Inter. Mendes. It's not a bad ball, that. Dangerous cross, and it had to be dealt with. Certainly shown they can still cause problems. JDT. Keche. Helped on by Nene. Nene again. Just about everyone back defending in white. Inter. Much room on the edge of that very crowded penalty area. Had to go back. Parra. Keche. Can they find a way through? Parra stayed forward here. Inter has it again, the captain. You think it'd be a wise move to try and spread the play at every opportunity against the 10 men. Parra. Inter. Around the back, not like that. Still in play. Oh, it's good by Galeno, very clever. And that'll be a free kick won by Tony. So this is the change, and not unsurprising really, that Gonçalves is coming off, who's, I guess you could call him a luxury player. Valentin Atangaro who's coming on, the Frenchman. It's the foul on Tony. Midfielder off, defender on. You can see exactly what Matthias Eisler's tactical plan is from here. What we have, we hold. Not to blame him too much when you're a man down. I have been a man down for a while, since the 37th minute. Inter. See, it's clear. Ahli Saudi have dropped deeper. Looks like they're challenging JDT to find a way through here. Nowhere else for Parra to go, but back to his goalkeeper there. So gets it out wide for Silva, who's been a bit quiet of late. Well, that touch might have worked inadvertently, actually. Ahmed nearly directed it straight into the path of Mendes. Arribas. So many bodies in the penalty area now. Nene couldn't find a way through. 25 minutes to go. Insa. Tara. Insa again. Tara again. A lot of possession in the last few minutes, but no end product so far to show for it. Patience is a virtue, though. 10 men have done a lot of running, and there's a lot more to do. Nice little touch for Akeche. Tony tried to play it first time. Quite a difficult skill to execute that situation. It's Rafael, and now Ilami. Now Insa. Four in the penalty area for Johor, and they'll all stay there for the corner kick. So it was only a matter of time, wasn't it, till strengthened the attack with the striker. Vargo is coming on. And it's the captain, Nacho Insa, is coming off with a few words for the man about to replace him. So on comes Iago. Brazilian, and his first job is right on the edge of that penalty area, waiting for any scraps. Nothing's reached him so far. Not wasting any time now, he's getting the ball back into play. Arribas. Iago's first touch, he's won a corner. He's in a bit of trouble here, I think. Al Hassawi. He's told to go back to his feet, and he is up. Iago will take this corner himself, but he won a moment ago. Short to Mendes. Queuing up to head that away. Akeche. And again Akeche's delivery. So many bodies in such a crowded, small area, just outside that 6-yard box. Bodies flailing on the ground. They're all up again now. And here come Johor again. Seen so much of the ball since that second Ahli Saudi goal went in. Ball's kept in play. Did really well to do that. He missed that Galeno shooting chance, but he spooned it miles over the top rail, Parrott. Meanwhile, Ryan Hamid is down again. We saw him down a few times in the first half, actually. He got a bang in the face. Yeah, he did, actually. they still have some hope. But there haven't been too many anxious moments for Ahli Saudi in this second half. They really haven't, either before or after the wonderful goal scored by Galeno. That was it. Brilliant strike. Coming, well, maybe more than one actually. See exactly what they're doing here. Al is coming on in place of Riyad Mahrez. Hasn't really got into the game. Had that one chance in the first half. We didn't really hit the shot with enough power at all. So he's off. Al is on. Genuine striker, Albrakan. I mean, clearly he's going to have one eye on Monday's semi-final without taking anything for granted, but bearing in mind Mahrez played 120 minutes on Monday in the round of 16. Managing workload. He's 35 now, Mahrez. Tony. Take the throw. Cards out. See who the recipient is. It's like Tengana, one of the substitutes, going to be cautioned here. Can't find a way through at the moment, can they? Shutting the door on them every time. And Ahli Saudi. Is that a word with Ivan Toney, who has been booked, remember? Several chats with the Englishman. Has played for his country, Ivan Toney, but very unlikely he'll be in Thomas Tuchel's World Cup squad. Far away from that extravaganza, a couple of months or so. Here goes Albrakan, and he's forced the foul and another caution. Rene, the man being booked. Make that 6 bookings and a sending off, and that's just the players on the pitch. We've had at least 3, maybe 4 of the technical staff carded as well. A new notebook after this match is over. Adam Markadma, the referee. It's not been an easy match to officiate, actually. There's been a fair bit of play acting, a bit of time wasting, couple of nasty challenges. Cleared away by Mendy. Well, that was the definition of anywhere will do. 15 minutes left, 15 minutes away from a semi-final place for the holders of this competition. Played into Nene. Para. Not the worst ball. Space for the shot, good save. Iago denied. Was bound for the corner until Mendy's intervention. Full stretch there, Edouard Mendy. Another change. Raul Para's gone off. Just confirm that when we wait for this corner. Bergson has come on. Actually, he said he wasn't going to be fit enough for the bench, but he's on. Oh, the header was good, but straight at the goalkeeper. A couple of metres either side. That might have been big trouble. Right down his throat. That was the save before it. That was good keeping from Mendy. He's not had many saves to make, in all honesty. You'd have expected him to save that, but full stretch. So Johor have now got the twin-pronged Brazilian strike force, Iago and Bergson. Story of the match, that was the own goal from Madrashi, who had Guilherme breathing down his neck. There was the leveller, front Casey's header, just before half-time. And then this from Galeno, marvellous strike, 2-1. They're trying their best to raise their side, the Malaysian fans. Is there a way back? Ghana's back on. Straight down the middle. Defender should deal with it. Bergson. Sat up nicely to strike on the volley, but the deflection very comfortable for Mendy. Galeno. Two in the middle, and not exactly busting a gut to get up in support, but he does have Alta Howie here, and that will be a free kick. Just got trodden on. No question, that was the right decision. Well, Mahrez took that wonderful free kick on Monday, but he, of course, has just been subbed. Too wide for a shot in any case, you would think, although who knows what Galeno's got planned. I've seen keepers embarrassed at their near post in this kind of situation. Signal to someone. It's Galeno, and it was kept in play. Looked like it was drifting out, but that was half an opportunity. And headed back to anyone in white, and a great chance, as it is, inside the last 10 minutes now of normal time. And Ahli Saudi getting closer and closer to a semi-final place on Monday. By Silva. Bergson back helping out. Now here's one to chase. Can Al Saudi get across? Yes, he can. That's good defending. Make sure it doesn't go for a corner either. Shrafilov. Nene to Mendes. Nene again. Everyone in white back behind the ball. Rivas. Iago. Once again, bodies falling everywhere. No foul though. Shot from Nene, and it came right back to him. Mendy was looking anxious for a moment, but in the end it goes out harmlessly for a goal kick, and starting to get frustrating for Johor coach there, Cisco Munoz. Best kick in the world from Mendy, that. Battling for it, Bergson. Rivas. Oh, that's a weak clearance. Thought about coming, and in the end, it's tossed out for a goal kick. And now Mendy himself has gone down. See goalkeepers with cramp. Told to get up by the referee. Going to be a yellow card. It's blatant time wasting from Mendy. Huge clearance in the end though. Tony was beaten in the air. Jimenez's free kick. Looking for Galeno. Quite happy to stay there on the corner flag inside the last 5 minutes now. That'll do nicely from a Ahli Saudi point of view. You know that now nothing will be done in a hurry by the men in white. Even though we're inside the last 5 minutes, it could be any number of minutes to add in injury time. This is Galeno. Nicely done, Milo. It was hauled down, surely. Now the free kick. The chance to waste a few minutes. Yellow card for a Ketche. They're close, they know. Can they hold on for however much remains after the next 3.5 minutes of normal time? Galeno will take the free kick for Ahli Saudi. Exactly over-committing the 10 men with players in the box here. Galeno trying to catch the keeper out at his near post. Wasn't the worst effort, in fact. Stopped in his tracks there, Albrekan. Clear their lines, Johor. And referee waited and then gave the free kick. It's got caught, Milo. Very messy challenge from Nene, to say the least. Arm in the face. So Galeno again to deliver. Now only 2 minutes of normal time remain. Here he goes. Too much on that, way too much. See the frustration from Ivan Toney there. Hidalgo is about to come on in place of Guilherme. All started so well for him, of course, heavily involved in the own goal. So the Italian midfielder is on for the last minute or so of normal time, and then however much longer after that, we'll find out very shortly. Arribas. It's going to be significant though. Serbi now says he has cramped. Started so well, didn't it, for Munoz? The early goal, then the opposition reduced to 10. They're making sure that the officials are aware of this time wasting. That's what it is. You could have easily just rolled off the pitch there, Ahli, but anyhow, the fourth official poised with the board. See how much is on it in a moment. No way through at the moment. That will be a free kick. Foul on Israfilov. Just about everyone forward here for Johor. It's a decent delivery too. Whacked away by Tony. 5 minutes. Thought there might be a lot more than that actually. Only 5 minutes. Iago had to go the long way round. He's got it back, the Brazilian. Finds some South American magic, not this time. Well, that's a rather silly challenge. Was waiting for it to come in, wasn't he, Galeno? Get the free kick, use up some time, ease the pressure. He's done all of that. Iago fell for it. Mendy will just launch this as far as he can. Over the head of Tony. It was his jump that was penalised. Al-Hassawi is coming off. He's run himself ragged, actually. And Demiral is on. Another defender, the Turk. Well, there's life, there's hope for Johor. Just one chance is all they're asking for now. Shot! Needed saving. Wasn't the most crisp strike you'll ever see. But a Ribas denied by the fingertips of Mendy. Job is not done yet for Ahli Saudi. Into the box again. Knocked away by Demiral, who's just come on. Space for the shot. They're not going to get a penalty for that. But they have got a free kick outside the area. So still a chance to force extra time here. Yeah, that was the foul there, right in front of the referee, who allowed the advantage initially, decided the challenge in the box wasn't a foul, no penalty, but it will be a free kick. He's got to get this wall exactly where he wants it, Mendy. Looks like Akeche is going to be the man. Some of the home fans can't look. He has to. Standard player on the ground in case the taker goes low. Akeche, who came on to replace Gyro, got that horrible injury. He's been impressive, actually. Can he find a way to answer his manager's prayers right at the death? Last minute of stoppage time. Akeche for Johor. Will you get a second chance? They're going to get a corner. So one more opportunity. He's saying handball. Well, the keeper's got to come up here surely for this corner. Silviore's got to come up. It's not in there. Here is the corner kick. Dangerous. Even has got something on it, and anywhere will do. We've played the 5 minutes. Maybe still one more chance from the long throw. Well, in fact, it went for a corner, did it? It did. So an even better opportunity. They are hands clasped in prayer. Home fans just want the whistle. He wants a miracle. Great header at the near post. Still need to get it out of the danger area, though. That's a good header. And that is full time. Well, they found a way. It looked really, really dodgy for them when they conceded early. An own goal from Madrashi 19 minutes in, and then especially when the same player was sent off 10 minutes before the break. But from nowhere, Casey came up with a header, a free header from a corner to send the teams in level at the break. And then Galeno produced a piece of Brazilian magic. That was the save. That's his best save. He really had to make some ground to get across and just shovel the shot aside and deny Oscar Arribas and Johor an equaliser in extra time. So he still has a chance, Matthias Geisler, to coach this side to successive Asian Champions League titles. So much drama, and it's finished. Al Ahli Saudi 2, Johor Darul Tazim 1.